Hello everybody and welcome to the glorious Smite League. Tonight we have a lower division tournament match between WODL and the off-meta Smiters. Your casting team tonight is myself, Vile Blood Mitch, and I'm joined by Ginger Archer with printers on the production desk.
You okay,
How are you, Archer?
You okay, bro?
No.
We have a very interesting match tonight. This is a rematch.
It is indeed. With the mid-season tournament taking place earlier this season, WODL and off-meta Smiters have already faced one another, with WODL taking that one in a 2-0 sweep. Since then, they have changed their roster quite a bit and actually increased the strength of it, with Snowy coming to the mid notably, although not playing tonight. It is going to be Cooper there, Amelia in support, Ace K in the ADC role, Machiavelli in the jungle, Firefist in solo against Clover UK, filling in for the off-meta Smiters tonight in the solo lane. Big Black Banan 69 in the jungle, Aperture Hella in mid lane, Wolf 58 in support, and Outso, the GOAT himself, in the ADC. And he is going to be facing off against an Ishtar first pick here.
I mean, yeah, so far these bans are just completely standard. All these gods have been really overperforming so far, and Ishtar's a very safe first pick. But however, a lot of things are open currently for off-meta Smiters to respond with. Picks like the Cerdanos, the Gilgamesh is open as well. Like, there's plenty of gods you can pick into this now. Yu Huang isn't bad. You can get your support, your Moja's open, and it looks like they're looking for the soul.
That's a GOAT soul.
Yeah, Goat
Anybody who knows Goat Soul knows that is a GOAT soul coming through.
And the Ganesh.
Yeah, Ganesh, a very good pick. Just able to interrupt so much and disrupt so many abilities just with that silence. I think the value of that often underplayed a bit by players of the game. You know, even against the Khepri, you can just stop that Khepri from ulting altogether if you're trying to kill someone. The silence does a huge amount of work. The protection shred with the pillars, the grab. Very solid pick within the Ganesh here. And Yu Huang on the other side coming in for WODL. So another very safe pick in of itself, but one that's able to get that late game and shred damage alongside Yemoja. Now, for Ganesh and Sol, that's not too big a deal. They can just dash out.
Yeah, but WODL, this screams team fight as well. Like, Ishtar and Yu Huang are going to get through the lane phase fairly safely, but these two, like, damage-wise, late game is ridiculous. That, again, with the Emoja sustain and the CC, it's going to be very hard to deal with late game, I think. And then off-meta Smiters respond with the Nijar.
Yeah, trying to get individual picks here, which I'm not against. I do agree with the WODL comp on the team fighting as well. I think seeing, an Ishtar come out into the Yemoja ult, into them pulling back the Ishtar, so you're pretty much guaranteed to lock them down into that tremble and that damage from the Yemoja ult, while also just being able to shred them down because their position is locked in. It's a really nice little combination that they've got going here. The Yu Huang to reposition either the front line engage or to just reposition the back line into a negative position. Well, we've got the makings of a really, really strong comp here, and looking at draft so far just off of these picks, I think their team fighting is going to be a lot better. However, if they can get into those team fights without the Naja having already picked someone off, or picked off relics, is another issue altogether. Naja, one of the prime characters for doing that. Very capable of doing so.
One notable pick that I noticed here for jungle as well, most likely I can imagine a pick in that way. A lot of it is open, stuff like the Susanoo, Lancelot, and Cleaner are open, so what of a lot of opportunities, and off-meta Smiters are hovering over the Persephone pick, which, yes, definitely going to help in their team fights.
Persephone with a lot of burst, a lot of lockdown with the ultimate. Mix that with the Dharmic pillars, you've got a lot of ability to trap people into some damage here. Big fan of it. I'm concerned about physical damage right now.
Yeah, so the Persephone ult as well is also especially good into WODL right now, because if you trap your Moja, she's not getting out, Yu Huang can't fight, and there's the Lancelot. Yeah, Yu Huang can't float away once he's Persephone ulted, Ishtar can't dash away, forced to ult. And Lancelot, I think he can still mount up if he's Persephone ulted, if I'm correct?
I think you are correct. It's only stuns that can dismount the Lancelot or breaking the damage through the shield. Now, the one thing I will give for Persephone is that she can just do an absolute ton of damage. Even just with the one. I mean, she is a damage monster, and I think can often go under the radar, actually, for the amount of burst that she brings. People sort of forgetting that those flowers stacked up. That's very similar to an Arposh corpse explosion.
Mhm.
Coming in with the Lancelot then, the Amaterasu. I like this pick. I'm a big fan of Ama, and I think she doesn't necessarily get picked up enough in the Guan Yu heavy meta. I think she should be much heavier of a priority pick instead of the Cthulhu as a counter.
One thing I do have to note as well with this Amaterasu, Wukong, and Ishtar is that these gods have a very slow laning phase. They're best at towards the late game, so Yamoja and Lancelot are going to have to apply some map pressure to give these picks the space they need to farm up. And often Smiters respond with a Shiver, which is definitely prominent in the laning phase.
The problem is after the laning phase, and I'm looking at the off-meta Smiters composition right now, and I'm really worried for how they're going to be able to take any sort of fights in the late game. They're really going to be relying on getting a couple of picks, using the Shiva ult to resustain, and then taking a fight again after, because right now there's no real... I'm going to say there's just not a lot of large-scale impact. Like the Naja ult is really only targeting that one player, the Shiva ult. Again, you don't really want to be using it mid-fight, because then you're just not able to get damage off.
And also,
I don't think you find value, you're an easy target.
Something worth knowing as well is that off-meta Smiters, when it comes to objective play, whilst they have a lot of damage to burn it, for securing, I can definitely see them struggling when it comes to objectives.
Yeah, to be honest, I think both teams could here. Like, WODL don't have the best secure outside of, the Yu Huang. On the side of the off-meta Smiters, I think people can underestimate actually how much damage a Soul's ultimate can do to an objective.
Oh, definitely.
And I actually think that is probably the best secure on the map right now, is that Soul ultimate coming down. I think, if anything, off-meta have the better secure for it. In terms of DPS, though, 100%
WODL. I mean,
that
Ishtar one is ridiculous when it comes to playing out those objectives. The spread shot is whew.
Don't I know it. Speaking of spreading, we are going to spread ourselves into the game here across the map to get into this first game between WODL and off-meta Smiters, the first game of this week, but the fourth game of the tournament so far. A tournament which I found to be very enjoyable, especially that set King Kais versus the Adequate Armadillos the other day. That was such good entertainment. I don't know if you caught any of it.
Slither Kronos, we love the Slither Kronos. Now,
he slivered on in and then slivered on right back out again.
We're looking at very standard starts right now, going red to speed, standard, very safe. Teams really don't want to risk this right now because they don't really want to travel for the loser bracket. This is a really important game for both teams.
Yeah, and even honestly, like, every single thing here is very, very, very standard. Amaterasu with the Death Star in comparison to the Shiva, who's going to be looking into that axe, which could go into the Hero's axe, or, you've got both the options, which are very viable here, especially for actually stopping the amount of CC that WODL have. Just being able to provide that shield, stop the burst, is going to be useful. I think various options there could be useful for the team, and it's just going to be a case of seeing which is going to be better to pick up in the moment. Overall, though, standard stuff. Would have liked to have seen the Naja with multi-pots and looking for early aggression rather than the mana pots, but that's just a personal gripe. Also not a fan of the Persephone. One, having the speed buff, and two, having mana potions instead of... Well, 2 mana potions instead of 2 health potions. That Sands of Time gives you so much regen. As in the duo lane here, seeing quite a bit of aggression onto the duo lane of WODL, but Wolf 58 is starting to fall that little bit lower, popping the health pot, and with WODL having that inherent sustain of the emoji, they're probably going to be able to out-sustain this duo lane of the off-meta Smiters, who really want to be taking an all-in engagement. And speaking of engagements, Wolf 58 falling lower and lower, Ace getting the dash in, Shell comes out and just about able to save himself from the first blood. The emoji one coming through, not going to do enough, but also on the other side, forces out the Shell of Amelia as well. Both these ADCs chunking their opposition supports massively. Big amounts of aggression early on here, and it's things that you like to see. Both teams up for it, both teams looking to win.
And it looks like with both teams, this is all out aggression so far. They're definitely trying to play here, and with both Shells being down supports, it's just left to the Sol and Ishtar, who both definitely apply very heavy wave pressure, and it looks like the Ganesh is going to be getting the Interceptor, which is definitely going to help in those 2v2 fights in the duo lane.
Yeah, the Ishtar and Yamoja just getting out pressured so far by the Ganesh and Sol. I think, that power buff that is given to the Sol by the Ganesh, just meaning her clear with the Conduit Gem, is going to be really high. So, able to force out that pressure. But the one thing I will say, look at the health bar situation of the two teams. Is Yamoja providing so much sustain for the side of WODL here, where off-meta Smiters slightly lower. Nothing too impactful, also just popping his final health pot there, but right now, this duo lane providing a lot of interest, especially with, you know, the reputation of the off-meta Smiters ADC to be sitting back further and not wanting to take fights.
The goat. So
Goat himself.
I mean, his build is very interesting. Conduit Gem's pretty good on Saw, and then going to Buck. Oh,
Wolfie Mess MB missing the dash, and actually the counter gap coming along by Machiavelli, getting aggressive onto Alzo, who finds the disapparate, is immune for this short while. The dash comes through, but Amelia picks up first blood onto Alzo, and first blood goes to the LD team. Captain Amelia picking up that one for WODL. And that's going to be a lot of momentum shifting in the duo lane here, especially with an Ishtar getting a lead over a Soul.
a common Waddle W, but so now that the first blood has been given to Waddle, this, as you said, the Ishtar is going to have a lot of pressure now with the Soul, but a bit of gold extra, but if it would have been better off if she matched last hit, but obviously in those situations, it's just kind of, as long as you get first blood, it doesn't really matter, but now Amelia is level 5, meaning she has arguably one of the best team fights in the game.
Yeah, now my only issue right now with Amelia's build is why she's gone for a shell and hasn't just rushed out, meditation to get cooldowns. That stuff is so broken. You pop that with a Spear of Deso, you can solo anyone on the map with your ult and pop in the med. It is stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I'm disappointed.
Viable as well, though.
Yeah, but the shell's boring.
Sleeper.
It wants to help their team. I want to kill people. No, I want to see people getting soloed by the Emoja.
I mean, right now the Shu Hong's being pressured quite badly with the Persephone plants just biting at him constantly, and Ninja is definitely looking for that gank right now.
Definitely is, but it would not be safe to do so. AceK going aggressive, does pick up the kill, also does find the ultimate on return, but not going to be enough damage here for Wolf to pick up the kill, especially missing the dash. Does drop the Dynamic Pillars, but not able to find any damage, and using that silence, that doesn't do damage. Two ults out here on the side of the off-meta Smiters. AceK able to just walk away at the end of it with no mana, next to no health. A disappointing choice of combination there from the support of the off-meta Smiters, and also popped all the damage that he could, but to no avail there.
Yeah, as soon as he missed a dash, I think he should have just left it at that point, but to really give away your ult for a potential kill and just for it not to really do anything is quite bad. It's not a really good trade, and now if there's another 3v3 on the map, Ganesh ult is down whilst Yemoja ult is up. That means if there's a breakout of a team fight, I can definitely see it going in the way of Waddle.
Yeah, agreed. Especially, I'd be looking at this Naja here, no way to escape that ultimate. As far as I'm concerned, that's the freest target there is. Got the blink, so no way to avoid the CC. You can easily lock that in place. Persephone and Ganesh able to both get out of it with their individual dashes, but yeah, as we do see some aggression here from Big Black Banan, who's still got those 2 mana pots, as I mentioned earlier. The ultimate coming out from Banan and in response, Kupo, but in the duo lane, a 3-man rotation means Alto once again falling. This time Machiavelli picking up the kill, and it's a kill for every single person who has ganked that lane so far. Amelia, AceK, and Machiavelli all on the board right now.
They're trying to slay the GOAT, and also they're trying to start off with a mid-fight as well, but this Ishtar's got a lot of pressure to work with now with these 3 ganks, especially with all 3 going to each individual player. This is a nice little gold in the pocket for them, and it gives Waddle more of that map pressure that they want.
Absolutely is. I mean, right now I'm seeing this Ishtar, and I'm looking to be clearing the wave, take that side cam, take the Chalice, and then potentially rotate with that mana regen. The Ishtar still having the ultimate available could go big in this mid-fight, even if it is just burning out some relics. Clover being forced low by Machiavelli, who is looking to invade towards the camps, isn't going to find too much, but now actually looking aggressive counter early, but doesn't have the ult available where Machiavelli does, and Big Black Banan falling very, very low and getting solo between the 2 towers by Machiavelli in the jungle. The Lancelot taking no damage whatsoever. And I don't really get why Banans chose to fight that, knowing that his solo laner is so individually low on health.
Machiavelli is just using this Lancelot perfectly right now. He's giving his team that map pressure and allowing these 3 farming pits right now to just farm up. They don't have to worry, and the further this Ninja falls behind, it's going to be harder for him to initiate as well with his ult, because when he's coming down, someone's going to be waiting there to kill him.
You know what else I know? This freeze. This freeze is big. Take it from someone who's done this before in a set. If this doesn't get a rotation soon, this is going to be uncontrollable, because the Naja is going to be ganking. Ishtar's always going to have relics and ult. Also can't farm here.
Oh no.
He honestly needs to just be going to other camps. He needs to be doing the purple buff right now. He needs to be doing green. He needs to be splitting the red because otherwise he's not going to be able to get farm. There is a slight push towards him with how the Ishtar has pushed in there. Slightly disappointed Ace K hasn't gone for an invade. Should know the timers. I'm disappointed that there's not enough vision around that. If you're going to freeze, you want these timers so that when you do choose to push it so that you can get their buff. Your buff is not going to be under pressure because you've got that side of the map under lockdown, and your team should be able to call out if there's a rotation if you are that far ahead. Would have liked to have seen him pressuring it more. However, Amelia's coming over and doing that for him because also did not use that time to go and secure his own purple buff as he should have done, meaning he's going to be dropping further and further behind now. Already a 1,000 gold deficit in the duo lane and in the jungle. This game's 3k between already. That's big.
Yeah. Plus with the emoji pick as well, she's one of the best gods when it comes to seeing those like little crabs because as soon as you go see her, she's just gonna ring away. She doesn't really care. And Amelia's doing that right now. She's pressuring with the emoji, with the Lancelot by her side. There's not really a lot off meta Smiters could do. I think the best thing they could do is maybe cut their losses and try and help in the mid lane, try and get this Yu Huang down, and maybe try and pressure the Amaterasu because Clover is doing a lot of damages like Amaterasu. They are fighting and they
at the
can
same time though, the Amaterasu, had she hit the silencer, would have definitely had the potential to get a kill. Amaterasu with the sustain that she now has, her one starting to get ranked up, the pot's there, she is there for the kill potential. Firefist without beads is going to get pulled into the air by Big Black Banana, gets knocked down but just doesn't die. The Dharmic Pillar's not quite hitting the mark and Firefist able to get out. Meanwhile, Machiavelli's there going aggressive onto Clover and Banan himself, but he's still got Wolf at 5-8 there to deal with. Now Machiavelli's getting aggressed onto, gets pulled in twice by Clover, but due to the artillery sash being down, he's also going to get out with his life, and you really have to say that's two big missed opportunities for the off-meta Smiters.
They really needed those 2 kills, especially with the deficit in duo. This is making it extremely difficult for the off-meta Smiters to find those situations to get those big wins because, that dash, the final dash just, man, they really need this now. And with Pyromancer being up, it's another objective on the map that, with this map pressure, WODL could definitely start looking at when they want. Not right now, but they know they can probably take it when they're ready. And Gold Fury is also up, and the trebuchet for off-meta Smiters was sent out a bit too early, kind of just lost its value with it starting there, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, right now, WODL just need to be pulling Gold Fury. They've got a 2-level lead on the Ishtar. She's 2 items deep in the build in comparison to Outso, who's not even stacked his Book of Thoth. As a stacked Devourer's Gauntlets and an Executioner right now, this Gold Fury is going to fall quite rapidly. Wolf MB and Aperture, Hella stepping up in, but I mean, Firefist, look at where Firefist is right now. He's invading. Kupo's having to getting caught out a little bit, but they're committing 2 people over, and that means a free Gold Fury. Jungler on the wrong side of the map at the wrong time of the game, not even taking his own speed buff. Not getting the farm that you need, and you're losing your team the farm by just not being in place to react to and respond.
Yeah,
WODL's
just playing with his. Why wasn't Outso attacking his wave? I don't know. But yeah, WODL were playing this map pressure extremely well right now. They're really pushing their lead, and if this carries on any further, they have extremely safe, really good high damaging and big team fight ults when it comes to team fights. Where if off-meta Smiters try and step up, it's going to be extremely difficult to deal. And it looks like they're going to try and go for the Amaterasu again, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's too late to be going for this Amaterasu. It's level 12, and honestly, it's looking to back anyway, so isn't likely to be stepping up too much. You know, you're level 12, got the money for what I'm assuming is going to be a Berserker Shield. You want that second relic. The teleport's up, so you can go for that Pyromancer, so why not get back to base? Although instead, is choosing to continue fighting Clover over in that solo lane, now rotating towards her own blue buff. Personally, I think this is a mistake from Firefist. I think they need to back and use that momentum now to get the Pyromancer with the team.
Yeah, they definitely have the damage to burn it. It's just that with off-meta Smiters hovering around the area, that's definitely on the mind of both teams, and I don't think it's free for either team right now, because right now it looks like a team fight might be breaking out.
Yeah, Machiavelli getting aggressed onto, by Wolf58, but he has no mana to really follow up on this, or Fire Fist is there to help zone him out, and they've honestly targeted on the kill rather than the objective. AceK's over here, WolfMB without much mana is getting ulted onto by Machiavelli and by Cooper. Big Persephone also, but Yamoja's there to just counteract it. The damage coming through is big. Cooper picks up one, Fire Fist picks up the next, Banan and Clover both falling. 6 kills to 0 so far. 6,000 gold deficit already, and this one, you have to say, is already looking beyond the reach of the off-meta Smiters.
I just want to point out Emilia's ult there, because the response to the Persephone ult was just great. Like, the Persephone ult was good, but the emotional walls made it so difficult for the off-meta Smiters to respond. It just made it impossible. And with the Ishtar clear, they got Pyromancer as well. And
yeah,
right now they're going to steal the Great Scorpion, which now that's just off-meta Smiters is being bled dry right now.
Yeah, I mean, exactly what you mentioned. It just completely prevented follow-up, and you're right to highlight it. It was a really, really nice ultimate. Very big bit impacting the team fight, which maybe without that could have gone another way. Maybe we see a couple of picks going and it's not quite as clean. Also has got himself back into it a little bit, has gone and taken a fair amount of farm here, up to level 12, so the second relic is available, getting those waves cleared, and you can imagine we'll likely have the Bancross talent completed here, assuming it is going to be the Bancross, which I hope it is. Still a 2-level deficit, but has recovered from what was a 3-level deficit, able to secure his purple buff and bring himself back into this game just a touch.
Yeah, as long as he tries to recluse himself, try and get as much farm as possible, because right now, if he steps up to this shot, he's going to pay for it, because she has max stacks, like Devos, Executioners, Oddbow, like, she's not going to go down without a fight, and it looks like he has gone into his Bancrofts, and he soon needs to stack his Book of Thoth, but as long as he's, you know, getting that farm up, which looks like from that now, I don't think he's going to get it.
Wolf with yet another missed ultimate now. Oh, Dash even does hit the ultimate, actually gets 2 ticks of damage off. AceK taking a fair amount of damage here. Really nice rotation from Aperture Helen, popping the damage through, and also picks up the first kill of the game for the off-meta Smiters. Really nice rotation from them. They're putting more damage onto Amelia, but Dueling Dragons does indeed come out. Big Black Banana falling lower and lower, does get picked off by Machiavelli after using the ultimate to try and get out of there. Now Wolf58 gets stuck between the Emoja's water walls, is able though to just about dash out of there and not get picked off. Machiavelli though looping around, looking to re-engage here, especially on Outso, who pops the Aegis after taking big amounts of damage. The second dash is there, Outso healing as much as he can. Ultimate is popped by Machiavelli, but ultimately Cooper Cloud's taking that one in a 2-for-1 trade in favor of WODL, all because the off-meta Smiters tried to defend a 20% health tower.
Yeah, I mean, at first, off-meta Smiters had a good pick, you know, also managed to take down AceK, which, you know, gives them a bit of golden hand, shuts down AceK, very nice, but then, unfortunately, WODL answered back with, yeah, you know what, that's not going to be as free, so they just, you know, take 2 more kills on their side, which, right now, it's just not worth fighting WODL. The amount of damage they have, the amount of CC they have, they're controlling the map, and off-meta Smiters need to farm as much as they can. And what I worry for now, especially now, this Shiva is losing lane. It's Amaterasu is ahead. Amaterasu has got a tower, meaning, and Shiva's already not that good in the late game. So to be behind as well it's going to be very difficult for off-meta Smiters to find those initiations.
Yeah, you've really got to wonder sort of where their condition is. I mean, Aperture Hella in the mid lane has looked strong so far. You know, he's been putting out a lot of damage, a lot of really impactful ultimates. You know, so far it does look to be the sort of glimmer of hope, but even there, you're at a 2-level deficit. This Yu Huang is just going to do more, even without any percentage-based pen yet. But does that matter when the other team's so far behind? Not really, especially looking at Wolf58's build. He's got a Pythagoras piece.
Pythagoras on Ganesh this early in the game, I wouldn't think so, but it looks like AceK is trying to go for the solo, doesn't quite get there, but then Ganesh comes in for that, and WODL snag a Gold Fury. Standard.
Yeah. AceK would have had that if he'd used the correct use of the imbued arrows there. Using the third form for the range instead of the first form for the AoEs meant he was getting blocked off by minions. Actually did stop him from getting the kill, which otherwise would have been his. I would say you've gone for the Claw Glyph and not the Nimble Bancrofts.
That's an interesting choice, but I do want to... Oh wait, hold on.
If you were social media, it would be an interesting choice. Good, nice bit of damage onto Cooper. Cloud's taking about a quarter of the health, but nothing in response. Now, WolfMB just gets absolutely shredded by the 5 players of WODL, which are in mid. Currently no other support there. Clover kind of walking back through the jungle, but is there late. Also continuing to farm over in the duo lane, and this is what they need to be doing there. They need to be not taking these fights. They need to be farming, because they take these fights, they lose their team members, and then they lose pressure around these big objectives such as Gold Fury and Fire Giant, whereas if they just farm up, they can try and keep somewhat even. I understand wanting to get back into the game a bit, because Clover does go for an engagement onto Kupo Cloud.
Almost stole it.
Big Black Banana did indeed almost steal it. Clover picks up the kill onto Kupo, which is a nice little trade-off for them. Is very unlikely to get away with his life, and indeed does fall to Machiavelli on the other side.
Yeah, I do want to
Hello
point
also
out.
falling.
I do want to point out this Ganesha because obviously you mentioned it before, the Pythagorean's piece, but it's just I think I would have gone something like a Spirit Robe here because right now he's finding himself in really weird outpositioned areas where he's just he's getting beat on and he's just dying for it. And if he had Spirit Robe, he'd have the mitigations, to try and survive it. And it looks like outside.
Oh my god, he's just gone.
My man didn't even have a chance. But
this is why I say double flat pen is a good build.
Yeah, it's
this is why I said it before the pros were doing it. I said double flat pen was good before the pros started doing it. I said Cupid was good before the pros started playing it. I'm just a visionary.
Ginger Archer, a pro question mark? But no, I understand Also's reasoning. Because
yeah, he needs to farm, he wants to push.
Yeah, he wants to push, because right now, I wouldn't necessarily say everything's going wrong, it's his fault, because right now, he was getting rotated on early game, which he couldn't help, and then it doesn't help his supporters building Pythagorean's piece, getting caught out and dying, and it's just, and then you haven't really seen the Nijar go for the Ishtar when he can, and it's just, Alsa's got a bit stranded right now, and with his team losing the map elsewhere, it just really doesn't help, but I understand his reasoning to go for the tower, but right now, I mean, and then again, the bank. I think
the tower is useful. I agreed with the claw being questionable. I think the tower is good for them just because it relieves a little bit of pressure. It's an area where they can run to, and it's safety. Aperture Hella with a really nice ultimate. Somehow Big Black Banana is the one that ends up falling there after zero of the focus was on him. I think he's just been demolished by Kupo Cloud's ultimate almost alone there. That was a ridiculous amount of damage. This man just melted.
Yeah, this is just the WODL comp right now. They've got all the farm in the world, they've taken the objectives, right now they're looking to siege, and they have all the damage in the world. They're thinking, oh my god.
Goodbye.
WODL put on a clinic.
Has disappeared.
It's just, right now, they have so much damage, it's really incomprehensible for off-mass Smiters to really tank it, and then, just for example, I think we're about to see Wolf fall, and there it is.
Goodbye, Wolf. Zero. Even with the Pestilence in, just no resistance there. 20 minutes in, and this one is falling very, very quickly.
Yeah, WODL are definitely looking to end this now. They're going to try and go for the middle tower, go for the Phoenix. They might even be able to strip all the towers, because right now there's really nothing off-mass Smiters can do in response.
Yeah, I think they take this mid Phoenix and then they can go to the tower. They're opting instead to play it safe, go for the tower, not wanting to give the off-meta Smiters way back in. And I completely understand that. You don't want to overdo it. However, Kupo looking for a little sneaky play. They're not going to find it. But you know you're ahead when your team's hiding around corners.
Oh yeah, no, there's very little risk for him, especially as Yu Hong, where, oh yeah, I've been caught out, sorry, I'm going to fly away real quick, there's not really much you can do. And also they're all going to retreat, stand back a little bit, regroup, and just play safe.
Is that a voice crack I heard there?
Shut up. Yeah, no, they're going to play safe. They're going to play a little safe.
They are going to play safe, and I think that is the right thing to do. I mean, 14k in 20 minutes, I think it's going to be a long time before that stops mattering, as in like another 15 minutes of this game. And in that time, it's just going to grow. I still don't think the off-meta Smiters will be of 6 items by that stage.
Yeah, it's just, they're finding a really uphill battle. I think their best move right now is probably just to accept this might be a loss and try and see what went wrong, but they can still try and pull out a miracle. They have 2 Phoenixes, they can still defend. Because, right now, they can't just walk in. Well, because they still have the Ganesh, they still have the anti-dive, they still have the Persephone ult, they still have a decent team fighting comp to still defend their Phoenixes, I believe.
Yeah, and actually on levels, for 22 minutes in for a team that's this far down, the leveling situation isn't awful. I've seen a lot worse. I've seen a lot better, but I have seen a lot worse.
Yes.
Definitely. My concern is that this is going to influence them too much, and I think in this game now, you need to let the game go, but just try and make the small plays. See what little things you can do to build the confidence. Don't worry about the rest of the game. Accept the loss. See what picks you can get. See if you can just get kills on the right people. See if you can just make, the right levels of team play. Just build up that little bits of cohesion and accept that it's irrelevant and it doesn't matter. But you do the little things and you improve on those because it's the little things that you then build up and then add to the overall performance. It's not a sudden we're going to do this and one play is going to make all the difference. No, it's the tiny bits. It's the little macro plays. That's what separates good teams from great teams. That's what they need to focus on now. Such as positioning of your support who's not that tanky.
Yeah, nah. And it looks like WODL are definitely going to start looking over this Fire Giant now, especially with Oni minions going in and they have a left Phoenix. Like, they really have very little to worry about right now, so this Fire Giant definitely going to come at very low cost, especially with the Ishtar burn.
Yeah, although Ishtar getting burned a little bit by tanking the Fire Giant initially there, but that health is going to plunge on up with the help of the Fire Giant and also the Devourer's Gauntlets.
And the Emotion.
Fully upgraded Death's Embrace as well, so this is a full build Ishtar that is going to absolutely shred anyone they set their eyes upon.
I mean, I think anyone could shred at this point.
Do you think Tony Hawk could shred?
Oh yeah, man. They'll say they're going in,
they are indeed. Big Guy Banan finding himself in a lot of danger here. Firefist taking the engagement, not quite finding the pickoff. Clover getting a nice amount of damage, good amount of damage onto Ace K there. Nice triple knockup, but no follow-up unfortunately. And Waddle are going to make their way to the mid lane now, finding the final bits of shred to strip away the base of Waddle of the off-meta Smiters before they engage on that Titan. Wolf 58 having to dash away, finding himself once again in a position of danger. They're going to look for this left Phoenix and just systematically strip everything down so that there's nothing left to defend.
They have the Ganesh and Persephone ult, so they could try and maybe defend it, but honestly, maybe just try and look at defending the Titan and see if they can put on a last stand kind of moment.
It has to be the Titan.
Understandable. Yeah, Ganesh.
Here comes Diamond Pillars, but there is the ultimate respawn from Umoja. The damage coming off on the side from Machiavelli, too much zoning, and that Titan fell before anyone could even second guess it. Dominant performance from Waddle in the first game of this set.
A huge Waddle W. So, going into game 2, what do you think off-meta Smiters could possibly do to hopefully bring it back?
I think they need to get a lot more early vision, be aware of these rotations, specifically where the enemy jungler is. Even if it means you're stepping up and you're dropping, wards around their back camps, you can see which side of the map they're moving towards. If you've not seen them on that side of the map for a while, then you know that they're probably around the duo side. And it's these little bits of information which you can then get the insight from to change your play in that moment to be safer and just to be able to keep yourself even in the game. And alongside that, just seeing, okay, this person is maybe freezing a wave or something. Okay, I'm now going to go and take off the things that aren't there, because if they start pushing, I can then hold that wave by my tower. I don't have to immediately counter push it. I can do what they're doing at my tower line, and I'm at my tower line, I'm safe. There's just the tiny little plays like that they can do that just means their positioning is in a much better situation for them. I think that's the sort of plays they need to be making, these small adjustments.
So, who would you give to MVP this game?
There are a few calls. Obviously, Ace K absolutely burned the damage. Machiavelli got some really good rotations and some play sort of zoning out the off-meta Smiters. I think for me it's between Machiavelli and the Captain Amelia. I think she had a great game. The ultimates were really impactful.
I agree. They both gave Kupo, Ace K, and Fire literally everything they could want.
Yeah. I think this game I am going to give it to Machiavelli, and from what I'm hearing, that means that is indeed going to be the MVP of the set. Off-meta Smiters choosing to surrender the set to Waddle rather than playing the second game. So with that, let's see if we can get some Waddle members in here for some interviews going into their next seeded game, which will be against, I don't know, shove the bracket up. Mr. Pointers.
I mean, we didn't play the first game either, so I don't think we should bother playing the second.
So after that one, Waddle's next game is going to be against Ping Diff. That's going to be a very, very, very difficult game for them. Even with the improvements Waddle have made, Ping Diff have been a very consistent team throughout the seeding so far. Just looking ahead of that, who do you see taking that set, Mitch?
I think it's quite close. WODL and Ping Diff. I think honestly it can go either or. I think both teams are really showing really good potential right now.
Yeah, who have Ping Diff got in mid now? Because obviously with their current mid laner leaving, I don't know actually their roster changed who they've replaced with. I don't know who that is. Okay, I still don't know who that is. Anyway, we do have two players of WODL in here. We are being joined by Amelia and Machiavelli, the two shout-out and standout players for WODL in that set, the two that were being debated as the MVPs. Well played in the first and only game of the set to you both. Very, very impactful ones. How are you feeling about your chances in the next round?
Do you want to take this? Or shall I?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Feeling good. I think I've already had a message from the captain of the enemy team or one of the members, so I think we're going to organise that game pretty quickly. But we're feeling good. Riding off a good set is always nice.
I have another question.
Mhm.
So obviously at the start of the season, WODL struggled a little bit, but how are you feeling now as a team? Do you feel like you're growing, especially with how much you've improved now? Like, you know, you beat Fountain Gang and now you've beaten all these teams. You're doing well. Are you all feeling good as a team? Like feeling good with the growth?
Do you want to talk, Rob?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we're feeling much better. Like, I personally think I was stinking it up quite a bit, like early season. I was playing a lot worse than I know I can, and I thankfully seem to be coming out of that now and playing back to the level I know I can. So it feels good. I think everyone's like clicking more. We just have way better comms than we used to, and yeah, it feels really good. Like we beat Fountain Gang. We took a game off Kuman, and yeah, we've just got a nice big win off meta. So it feels good.
WODL really do be the fan favourites. It's nice seeing you guys improve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully you can keep on this momentum and give us a good set in the next one against Ping Diff and keep this going, because right now
Surely.
you guys are looking very, very strong and looking like you could be taking sets off of anyone, and it's good to see the competition there.
Absolutely. It
Yeah,
feels
we're
good.
excited.
Do you have any words for Ping Diff before you go against them? Come on. I want some
Sure.
smack talk. We need some beef.
Are you laughing at them? Did you just laugh at
You're
Ping
laughing
Diff?
at Ping Diff. Do you hear
I,
this?
I laugh. At
maybe they shouldn't play Bologna ADC and cheese it and actually fight us properly.
You realise they'll
Yeah.
just play Bologna jungle because it's Big Man Jesus, right?
Yeah,
true,
but he will play
maybe.
that. He will play that.
He will play that.
Yeah,
I
but
will
Ping Diff, they're
welcome it.
laughing at you. Be prepared to be the next WODL W.
I know, right?
WODL is unstoppable.
WODL Game
Unstoppable.
2 is coming
Let's go.
for
Alright, I think, are we going to wrap it up here then? Or any more questions?
What?
Alright. Alright, we'll wrap it up then. Oh shit.
Thank you very much.
Smoked out, tongue tied, ain't letting your bitches slide. I played your eyes gone fucking wide. I wish I could just leave you fucking side. You an annoyance to everyone around you now. And now the two of you, your pride, the one you fucking through. Underage girls, what the fuck you into? Please tell me what the fuck is going on in your broken ass mind. Yeah. Yeah. Yo, I'm back. I see smoke was just licking my sack. Puts all into the fucking wall, kinda slack. You been talking a lot of smack, but you been acting kinda whack. I got something you lack. Fat sex a Big Mac, and your mama throwing it back. Throwing it back. Smoked out, tongue tied, ain't letting your bitches slide. I played your eyes gone fucking wide. I wish I could just leave you fucking side. You an annoyance to everyone around you now. And now the two of you, your pride, the one you fucking through. Underage girls, what the fuck you into? Please tell me what the fuck is going on in your broken ass mind. Yeah, you think you hot shit, but I think not, bitch. Bitch switch, got me in a different pitch, bitch. Built like a fridge, only get in touch, cause people wonder what is inside, wonder what's inside. Nothing cause you spread them cheese, right? For whoever you fucking decide. You lay your pride in how many people been inside. Acting like you're 10 when your body can't directly correlate with how many fucking lied. Yeah, straight to your fucking bone. Yeah, yeah, go the fuck home. Yeah, go the fuck home. Yeah.
We back on that smart grind in my mind, rapidly declining. For this shit we watching the gallery of flannels. I got my best place done, spaced out. JBL about to get chased out, yeah. JBL, more like just big L's. Couldn't even be marked as rivals, just spaced out on a different level. Ran it through the brackets like it was a walk in the park. We watching the revenge arc of the spaced out squad. Best of 5, now I think it's over in 3. Spaced out, running it down, throwing JBL around. Fuck them clowns, no chance without a tear to let them jump in the backpack. They ain't about to backtrack. Toe putter, yeah. Toe putter, yeah. JBL suitor pudding, yeah. Toe putter, yeah. Sources tell me that JBL a bunch of crap. Babies, don't ask me where I got it from. Butter egg free, sitting here with a bottle of rum. Getting hammered while recording this song. Fuck man, I need to find something else to do. GSL champions, GSL champions, yeah, yeah, yeah. Alright, we packing UD, hope